My guest tonight is a writer and actor who's recently been seen in the films Little Women and The Post. He currently produces and stars in the acclaimed AMC series Better Call Saul. And on top of all that, is one of the funniest people I've ever met. Please welcome Bob Odenkirk. Bob, good to see you.
Hey, Conan, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. You know, there's a lot to talk about here, and these are really strange times. And then I just found out that you have had a personal brush with this coronavirus madness.
Yeah, my son, Nate, who's 21, was at DePaul, and his roommate was sick, really, really sick. And my son had asthma for many years. And very bad. I mean, a lot of times that goes away around 18 or so, but he was even at 20, and I think he still uses an inhaler sometimes. So I met him at the airport, and I gave him a mask, and, you know, he washed his hands with antibacterial soap and all that stuff.
Right.
And he woke up the next morning with a fever, and he said his throat hurt like it had cancer.
Yeah.
He said it really hurt.
And you said he was debilitated for weeks, right?
2 weeks, pretty much 2 weeks, you know, to the point where we're just so used to the flu, and we can't, our brains just naturally go, come on, I've been through it. I get it. 3 days, 2-3 days that are hard, and then you get better. Yeah. And it's just not that. It's not that. It's much worse. And yeah, so 2 weeks in, he's still, I'm like looking at him, I'm going, you're good now, right? You're doing good, right? And he's like, no, I'm not good. And
it's like it's like the power of positive thinking. I know that thing where you're trying to will people to be better. Like, you look good. You look fine, right? No.
How many feet do you have? I'm seeing 2 feet. I'm seeing arms moving around.
You and I spent, if you added up the amount of time that you and I spent when we were young, in rooms together, being complete asses and making each other laugh, it would amount to like weeks and weeks and weeks of solid time. And it was all pure idiocy, pure foolishness. Those are very happy memories for me. So it's been very satisfying for me to see you have not only this really amazing comedy career, but tonight it's the Better Call Saul 5th season finale. Next season is going to be a full season that brings us to the real end. Which is actually, in a weird way, the beginning, because it's the beginning of your character and the story of Breaking Bad.
I think they'll also tell this story of how this guy puts his life back together after he's gone into hiding after Breaking Bad, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't, I never know what to believe from Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould, the writers who lead this show, when they oftentimes say they had no plan in place. You know, they often in interviews say, I had no idea what this would mean or who this character would turn out to be. I think it's just hard to believe that they don't have an inkling of where all this goes. Because
they have to. There's no way. I mean, it's like a Swiss watch, the way they put this together. Yeah. So to watch Jimmy McGill over these past number of seasons slowly start to morph into Saul.
Yeah. You know, it's been an amazing, fun journey to discover this character, Saul Goodman, Jimmy McGill, and I like the guy as Jimmy. I don't like him as Saul.
Yeah.
It's still fun to watch him be this clown and get into all kinds of trouble because of it. But the real mystery of the show now is Kim Wexler, played by Ray Seahorn. She's hard to, and when people see this final episode of season 5, which I watched yesterday, boy, it ends completely on her and the question of who she really is inside. I think we all have different personas. We are at work and at home and then with our significant others and then even alone.
Not me. I'm always the same, Bob.
Oh, Jesus, your poor wife.
Look at that. That's what she has to deal with.
Man, really? In bed?
Yeah. This guy's, and I'm always doing takes like, and it's like all the time. Yeah. So I don't know what you're talking about.
And somehow you have 2 kids.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't look anything like me. I ran into Vince Gilligan recently. I went to, this is long before the coronavirus, back when we went to plays, and my wife and I went to a play, and Vince was sitting in front of us, just being a real jerk, making a lot of noise.
Yeah, that's him.
No, he was one of the sweetest, genteel people I've ever met. I was talking to him a little bit, and then he said something really interesting. He said that he thinks of you as a method actor. Do you think that's true?
I guess Vince is probably talking about the fact that I'm very willing. You know, there's a scene in a dumpster in the first season. You know, this episode 8 of this season, which Vince directed, and it's a masterpiece. And Conan, if you only watch one episode from season 5, watch episode 508. It's really amazing. But like, I'm crawling in the sand, and basically I'm going to say, let me crawl every time. It's okay. As long as I'm not bleeding too much. This is what the character's going through. Yeah. So it only helps me to actually do it. Vince says I drew a line on drinking my own pee.
Yeah.
I didn't think I needed to do that to pretend that I drank my pee and help. Or maybe in my past, I've drank a lot of pee and I just don't need.
You channeled that time.
Well, in acting class, the first thing you do is drink your own pee. And
you got to do it.
Just so you're able to play that scene one day. In Hamlet, you know in Hamlet where they drink pee?
I was going to ask you about, Chris Farley, who we all worked with and knew. You worked with him very closely in Second City, and I know a bunch of people know this, but I don't know if everybody knows that you created his motivational speaker character, Matt Foley. I wanted to ask you about that process of coming up with that character and writing it out for Chris Farley. How did that come about?
We were rehearsing and improvising scenes after the main stage show. And we did some improvisation where we were doing like an anti-drug speech to students. And it was improvised. We were goofing around. And Chris did a version of Matt Foley. He didn't have the glasses or the suit, but he was just hectoring the kids with that empty, by golly, you kids are going to get it together. It was just that voice of a coach who's just really doesn't know what he's saying but is trying to put a lot of emphasis in it. And I just went home with that voice in my head. It was very funny. And I sat down with a legal pad and wrote up that sketch exactly the way it's done. Although Robert Smigel added him smashing the table at Saturday Night Live, because we didn't do that at Second City. Well, Second City, he marched out the door and everybody ran for the exits so that they wouldn't be there when he got back. But so then I brought it in the next day, and holy crap, Chris. I mean, it was just amazing how it just came to life and filled that theater every night. My daughter asked me once, what was the most fun you ever had doing what you do? And I told her, and I think I still believe it would be the 8 shows a week with Chris doing the motivational speaker, because, I'd never seen anything hit so hard every time. And Chris wouldn't leave the stage until he made all the performers laugh. Yeah. He was driven to make you laugh when he did the sketch every single night. So he'd be throwing in different things. He'd come right in your face, pushing his glasses up. And it was the greatest. It was pure awesomeness.
Well, I want to make sure that I end with this. Usually they'll say, well, you're going to be talking to so-and-so, and they have a clip. And I would say you guys sent along a clip that is riveting. I know we're going to show a little bit of a condensed version of it, but this clip is it's just one of the best clips I've seen in a long time. It's got an amazing stunt in it.
We're in the desert. This is episode 508, this wonderful episode directed by Vince Gilligan. And we all suffered a lot to make it. and the characters are suffering in it. And can we talk about it for a second after? Let's watch it.
Let's show it and roll it.
You want the 7 mil?
Yeah, it is something. I just want to say the driver of that truck is Corey Eubanks. He's one of the best, if not the best, stunt driver in the world. And Corey is a super nice guy. And if you've seen a car flip in any movie of the last 10 years, he's probably in it. And in fact, I showed that clip to stunt people, and they said, "Is that Corey Eubanks in there?" Without seeing him.
Right.
They can tell by the way he flips the truck.
It's this crazy stunt, but it's an amazing, it's a very tense scene. And I'm sure anyone who hasn't completely caught up with Better Call Saul will be, if they just see a second of that clip, will be like, all right, time to catch up. Well, Call Saul are available to watch on AMC.com. And it is absolutely superb. So congratulations, Bob, on
Thanks, buddy.
Another great season. And thank you so much for talking to me. And I really do send you the best wishes for your son. I hope he's feeling better.
He's great. Thanks.
And thank you for sharing that your personal touch with all of this, because I think that's very helpful for people to pick up on who are watching right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody stay safe. And thanks, Conan. It's great to see you.
Great to see you too. Thank you very much, Bob.